been a while. Watch this video, I guess? Disclaimer though, this is my experience, and if you want to ask questions, go ahead, but if you're just gonna argue with me about what I've been experiencing, I am gonna tell you to back off. Ultimately at my discretion, but I'm open to hearing comments and questions. And also, if you want a part 2, let me know, because I am very open in like telling more specific stories about that. Cool. Enjoy the video. Honestly, all things considered, my childhood was a pretty normal one. And by normal, I mean heteronormative. Here's a list of assorted signs that I didn't realize were signs until I was much older. No assorted order. Number 1, me having mainly lesbian couples in my little Lego City universe, despite there being many male figures available for my brother's bustling collection, which they let me use. Number 2, me only drawing girls. Number 3, me being scared to draw those said girls with any sort of chest that was not flat until about 2 years ago. And number 4, me obsessing over any female character in any show, movie, media, whatever that I consumed. There's a whole other deal that had to do with me misinterpreting my own feelings with male friends in my childhood, but we'll touch on that later. For now, just know that I didn't have a lot of female friends due to the internalized misogyny that I felt growing up, and I was mostly hanging around boys because of that. I'd like to think I've grown a bit since my childhood, but I'm a result of who I was back then, and I can't change that. Honestly, I don't think that I would have realized that I was queer at all if I didn't go through quarantine. Let me explain. When I was in COVID, I used the internet a lot more than I normally did. Like, I barely used it all, even before, like, November of 2019. It wasn't that I was young, it was just that I didn't really see a need for it. And now, like, so much of what I do is online because I'm not a very social person. But because I spent so much time online, I was getting exposed to all sorts of different media. Like, that's how I discovered one of my favorite shows, The Owl House, which, because of its queer representation, led me to realize that feelings like this could indeed exist and weren't just limited to, like, my gay uncle. And honestly, thanks to the internet, I was able to, like, find people who are like me, that being queer, part of the alphabet mafia, if you will. One of the biggest, like, I'm gay moments for me was when I looked back after I got my first female crush that I recognized was a crush, was I looked back on, like, all the prior experiences in my life, and there was this one girl, which happened 2 years before this event, and I, for some reason, remembered getting really jealous when she told me she had a boyfriend. I wasn't even, like, good friends with her or anything. We were in the same dance class. And I still was just, like, really attached to her. So, younger me, My second big revelation would be, I guess, the fall of last year when I realized that I was, in fact, a lesbian, and I do not like guys. I do not feel romantic feelings for them. I just confuse those feelings with platonic feelings. And there's actually a term for that, which I will discuss later on in the video. Kind of my whole queer experience builds around this term and this experience that I went through, so stay tuned. Hey you, have you ever wondered if you are a lesbian? Well, then I have the news for you. There is a doc that I used in my journey to help me figure out more about my own experiences. And look, now I have this. This isn't related at all. This is just a cool little bracelet that my friend made me. But the Lesbian Master Doc is what ultimately helped me discover my identity, and I'm going to link it in the description so maybe you can get some closure. Intermission over. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, or in this case, the closet, maybe? I don't know. But the term is coercive heterosexuality, also known as compulsive heterosexuality, although that term was coined by a TERF, so don't use that. Use the first term shortened to cohed. And that's just a term for the theory that heterosexuality is enforced by the patriarchy, which, projects onto lesbians into thinking that they like men or tricking themselves into thinking that when they actually do not. Because I was not friends with a lot of girls, I didn't really have anyone to tell me what romantic things felt like. I wasn't good enough friends with the guys for them to tell me what their romantic feelings felt like either. And keep in mind, we were just kids, so we were all still figuring it out. But I just assumed that because I was friends with a guy and I wanted to spend more time with him, that must meant that I liked him, of course, right? Wrong. I couldn't tell romantic feelings apart from platonic feelings, and honestly, that's an issue I still struggle with today sometimes. The difference now is that I have a good circle of friends to help me talk through my feelings and also myself and understanding more about myself and how I feel emotion. Go-ahead really sucks because it's just this feeling that you're supposed to be liking someone and then knowing that you don't and just feeling so much worse because of all of that. I can't count how many times I've caught myself thinking things like, oh, it would be so much easier if you were straight, and oh, you chose this, but no, I didn't. Like it or not, it's who I am, and I'm glad that I'm confident enough to share this journey with all of you. The final part, the part where I tell you that I'm happy and everything in my life is going great regarding my sexuality, which, no, it's not. I still have a lot of people to tell, and I still have a lot of things to discover for myself. Just because I know who I like doesn't mean that I just get to be in a relationship now. Nope, there's still a lot of self-reflection that I have to do. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm glad that I went through this process and I know who I am now. And that's a really helpful thing for me. I deal with self-confidence issues a lot, and I don't think those will ever stop, but I'm glad that I can at least be confident and proud in this one aspect of myself. Knowledge is power, and this is especially true for me in my experience. I'm a lesbian, and I'm proud to say it.